Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you an amazing match I had on Yukon. Definitely the most back and forth match I've had in quite a long time, and it's a great way to kick off our week of me playing as the Ottoman. It's going to be a fantastic match, and this match is going to be fantastic because I'm not just going to use normal strategy here. I'm actually going to try an Ottoman spy rush. That's right. I saw this mentioned once, and I thought there's no way it's effective, and to be honest, it's not really the most effective strategy, but I figured because somebody in the comments of one of my videos said, oh, that'd be cool, I said, you know what, I'm going to have to go and try it, so I'm going to try using the Ottoman spy strategy. But what makes this match really amazing is that I'm playing here against a Sioux. It's a 1v1 match, but the Sioux player plays fantastically well, actually. They end up using natives and market upgrades and spies and all sorts of super exciting things that people like you asked to see. So I'd encourage you guys to stick around. This is a fantastic match. Now, as you can see here, I asked him, hey, good luck, have fun. He doesn't reply to me. And then I ask it again, and he doesn't say anything. So then I immediately make a beeline towards his town with my explorer. And the reason why I did that is because I'm doing this match in quick search, and sometimes people in quick search games, they enter the quick search game, but they don't finish the game, and they just start it and then let people beat them without bothering to move anything. That way they can decrease their rank. And I was really concerned that was what he was doing. That's why I completely passed up that treasure and made a beeline straight to his town, when normally I'd kind of scout out around a little bit more. But as you can see, I run to his town. I see villagers on a hunt, therefore I know that he's not in trouble. Now, I see that I'm going to go for the spy strategy. I knew that I was going to do that. So normal, your first card with the Ottoman, by the way, is you send in 3 villagers. You always send 3 villagers with most civilizations. Ottoman's no different. But because I was going the spy strategy, I'm actually going to send 300 gold as my first card. And come to think of it, I probably should have waited till I hit the colonial age and then sent 700 gold. Probably would have been more effective than 300. But I sent 300 gold because I was kind of making up the strategy as I went along. I didn't really actually find this strategy written down anywhere, or anywhere practical or good, you know what I mean? So like I hadn't really seen this executed at all before, because everybody with Ottoman does the same thing. They either fast fortress or they janissary rush, and both obviously are fantastic strategies, so it's not wrong to do it, but nobody spy rushes because spy rushing is not really the most effective strategy. But I think I've digressed. I've gone a little bit ahead of myself. Why do we spy rush with Ottoman? Well, we spy rush with Ottoman for a few reasons. First off, it's because the Ottoman have to build their mosque as fast as possible. The Ottoman mosque is a key to getting fast upgrades with Ottoman. You can determine the amount of villagers you can make, and you determine how fast those villagers are made from your mosque. And in fact, Ottomans start off with either 300 or 400 wood. And no matter what strategy you're doing with Ottoman, if you start with 300 wood, you build a house, a mosque, and buy your first settler training upgrade. And if you start with 400 wood, you build 2 houses, a mosque, and your fast settler training upgrade as soon as possible. In fact, you know what I probably could have done? I probably could have built the mosque first and then the houses, and upgraded faster that way. But as you can see, because we had no need of anything but food, you know, there was no need for us to gather anything but food to age up quickly. We're going to actually start hitting the colonial age really fast, and we're going to put all our settlers to gold, and our goal here is to get enough gold to buy spies. Now, the point of the spy rush with Ottoman is really just a novelty. They cost 125 gold a head. They're not the most effective unit in the world, and they're really kind of iffy as a unit, but the advantage is that it's a novelty act. People don't see it coming. They expect janissaries to get spies. Your hope is that you'll fluster the enemy. Now, against any good player, it's not really going to work out. But, you know, it's a novelty. And so the key here is for us to kind of take advantage of blue and see if we can do that. And that's actually what's going to happen. Because as you can see here, just me walking through his town actually made him put a villager in his town center, which is really surprising to me, because it was clearly just my explorer. Now, granted, he knows I'm Ottoman, I'm going to hit the second age really quickly, but still, that's kind of an overreaction. So I actually felt pretty good about my chances here to kind of knock his socks off, proverbially speaking, with the Ottoman. So, anyway, as you can see, I'm going to hit the colonial age really quickly, and as I do so, I'm going to immediately be ready on my mosque, and I got 5 spies coming out ASAP. And I think my first card actually in the colonial age will be likely 5 janissaries to back up my units. I did age with the 400 wood, and my goal with that was so I could build a barracks and 2 houses immediately. And now that I've gotten my first batch of spies out, I think I'm going to actually shift to not making more spies, because spies are generally pretty weak. They only have a 10 hand attack, actually. They're really not that amazing. overall. But again, the novelty's fun, right? You get spies out on the field quickly. You're going to go cause some problems. Meanwhile, I plan to follow it up with Janissaries and hopefully be effective. Unfortunately, Blue's playing a really, really good game so far. He's got his villagers hunting back towards his town center and other things, so it's going to be kind of difficult to take advantage of him. He's not a noob, you know, hunting his villagers all over the map. 1 second, let me take a drink, by the way. Super sorry about that. My throat's a little bit dry. But anyway, we got our spies on the field, and our hope here is to kind of run around the outskirts of his base and keep him in. Meanwhile, we're going to have the Janissaries within his base, and hopefully on the way to his base, and we're going to make more Janissaries from the barracks we have coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of him. I do need to get more houses out quickly though. However, the problem here with these spies, and this is kind of the downside of Spy Rush, as you can see here, he ends up just deciding to fight them with his villagers, and you can actually fight off an Ottoman spy rush with your villagers, and that's really the big downside. I could have had 5 Janissaries probably, or I could have aged with, you know, Janissaries instead and probably been a lot better off. Because as you can see there, he merely sends 3 Axe Riders. My spies are useless, and that 600 resources tossed down the drain. However, it was fun to do, you know, and I play this game for fun, and I don't mind, you know, using a weird or bad strategy for the joy of playing the game. That's what we're going to go on here. Now we're going to follow it up with Janissaries from my barracks. And I really thought at this point, by the way, I was like, you know what, this game's over. I honestly believed at this point, I'm like, this game's over. There's no way he's going to come back from that. I got Janissaries on the field. I didn't actually see him being able to do that much, but Bow Riders actually turned out to be incredibly effective against my Janissaries, which surprised me and actually turned this into a great game because it was actually really, really competitive back and forth. At this point, though, 6 minutes in the game, I have 10 Janissaries on the field, plus 2 spies. A bummer that some of my spies are dead, but I really felt like I was in good shape here. I thought I was going to be able to easily take down this corral, but what I didn't notice was he's actually built a native post at this point, and that's actually really, really clever of him, because the natives on this map are actually Cree, which give Cree trackers, which are a type of light infantry. So he actually didn't have to go build a war hut in his town, which would have been obvious and something I could have stopped. He didn't have to build a war hut in order to get some light infantry on the field. As you can see here, though, he gets some bow riders, and that's pretty good of him. I automatically, I guess, as a gut check reaction, I put my Janissaries in melee mode, which I shouldn't have done considering that those were only Axe Riders. And here now, of course, I'm fighting off whatever units I can with my Janissaries, and I really thought I was going to win this game. But in this little battle here, I was actually micromanaging out the Bow Riders. I assumed that the Bow Riders were the more damaging unit, but perhaps they were not. As you can see here, I kind of get my butt handed to me, and I was really surprised. And now he's got Cree trackers on the field. My initial rush has failed, and I'm in a world of trouble. Not over yet, but I decided to let those 3 Janissaries die at this point. I'm like, well, that didn't go so well, you know. Not the end of the world, because my economy, I feel, is actually pretty strong. My my 3rd and 4th shipment, 2nd and 3rd overall in the colonial, my 3rd and 4th shipment overall, and 2nd and 3rd in the colonial age is going to be 4 villagers and 3 villagers, followed up with a market being built, and my hopes to really rejuvenate my economy and start putting some heavy pressure on him, especially just since I have such good herds by my town. I thought, you know what, it's not the end of the world. And at this point, I probably should have gone Abyss guns. I don't know how well Abyss guns do, though, against Bow Riders. That's actually something I'm going to look up right after I'm done narrating this. But if you guys know, feel free to let me know in the comments. I don't know how well Abyss guns do against Bow Riders. So maybe I should have started getting some Abyss out on the field. As you can see there, I catch some villagers walking away, or I notice them. So I'm actually going to send my Janissaries up north to kind of go bother them. And really at this point, unfortunately for me, I've kind of played badly because I've kept myself isolated to one side of the map, and I haven't needed to, but considering that he's got a trading post there and he's clearly gathering resources, he's managed to do a pretty decent job getting away from me, I guess, just in terms of, you know, allowing me to effectively raid and wall him in. While I definitely have map control on one side, he's got map control on the other, and there comes some Axe Riders around to kill me. And I'm not doing so hot. He definitely gets some pretty effective raiding going on. But I don't freak out. I'm like, well, you know, this is going to be a long game at this point, you know. I'm like, uh-oh. But it's okay. We'll send 2 towers as my next shipment in the colonial age. And we're going to get this proverbial ball on the roll. Ball on the roll. We're going to get the show on the road, or we're going to get the ball rolling. One or the other, but probably not both mixed together badly. that's for sure. As you can see, I'm trying to just make sure my economy gets back together. And I catch some villagers here, or I thought I caught some villagers, and I was really excited. I'm like, look, if I can kill these 6 villagers, all of a sudden I felt like the momentum's back in my favor. I should have been making Janissaries at this point, but I go back to my town center to find out they're being dead. Meanwhile, he's running away, and I'm making more Janissaries now, but he's running away, and he doesn't have that Cree village. I assumed that was going to be the Cree village he was going to have, and unfortunately, I've lost like 5 or 6 villagers, unfortunately, at this point due to raiding, due to my own stupidity. Meanwhile, my Janissaries are helplessly in pursuit, but they're not really doing a great job, and I'm going to lose that villager as well. Not good overall. He's doing a pretty great job with Sioux. As you know, if you watch some of my earlier Sioux matches, which I believe were around 30 or so, self-promotion isn't that great, but if you watch some of my earlier Sioux matches, you know, we discussed it in length, and the key with Sioux is to get the chase going on and to get things rolling. Now, you may notice there, why did I move into melee mode? I moved into melee mode because I hoped he wouldn't notice, and because he would just see the red houses on the minimap if he was looking elsewhere, but he wasn't, so it didn't do very good. And at this point, he has an absurd amount of Cree trackers and bow riders, and he's done a great job. Like I said, Sioux, the key is to raid, and separate and conquer, and use your faster moving units and hit and run. And he's putting on a clinic of how to play Sioux. I'm not doing so hot myself with playing Ottoman. Again, I actually had never played Ottoman. I don't think I said this before this in Rush. I played them in Treaty, and I enjoy them quite well in Treaty. They're kind of a little bit of a more unique Treaty civilization, but never really played them in Rush. And my plan at this point, though, is I'm going to start attacking that trading post he has, get some pressure on him, and then I'm going to hopefully go in his town and destroy his stable, and then keep pumping out Janissaries and take his TC down. Hopefully his army will be on the wrong side of the world in terms of trying to defeat me. That was my plan, at least. I had already previously inflicted a good amount of damage on the stable, so I thought I'd be pretty solid getting that stable down. And as you can see, I'm working on my economy. And I don't know why they ran away there. They really should have just pushed in. That we could have taking down the stable, so that was a mistake by my part. I made a lot of mistakes this game, actually. The first was using Ottoman Spy Rush instead of just a regular Janissary Rush. I probably would have won if I had gone with Janissaries. Now, at this point, he is attacking my forward barracks, but I did take down his town center, and that's what mattered. So I am going to run into his town and take down his corral, not really seriously planning to take it down. My only hope was to actually distract him at that point away from my barracks and slip away. However, because he has his war chief with his units, the war chief actually has a speed aura, which gives them a pretty big benefit to like how fast they move. So they're really like in hot pursuit of me and catching up, and that's not good. The 2 towers though I sent are doing their job, so that's a plus side at least, but we lose another villager en route, so yippity doodah, right? He's done he's put on a clinic of how to win, and at this point I thought I was going to win this battle. Look at this force, right? I thought, man, I got more Janissaries overall. I thought this battle was going to be pretty pro me. Not to mention I got more Janissaries coming. Our scores were more or less tied at this point, but he manages to get away, so I decide to flee with whatever Janissaries I can and get the heck out of Dodge. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get my economy back on track, but I'm at 24 villagers, and I was at 24 villagers like 3 or 4 minutes ago, so it's pretty clear that at this point I've been in a world of trouble economically just due to his raiding. And now he's using his dog soldiers actually to slow me down and then allow the Cree trackers to catch up to me, because if he didn't have the dog soldiers meleeing my Janissaries, then the Janissaries would be able to slip away and the Cree trackers wouldn't be able to get me. So bad news, Browns. Or bad news, Bears, I think? Who knows? Bad news, I'm in trouble. On the bright side, though, we have successfully lured his army pretty much to the other side of the map and killed most, if not all, of his cav. So my plan at this point is let's get a stable going and let's start massing some Hussar. We're not going to just keep making Janissaries. The definition of insanity actually is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I'm massing Janissaries. He's massing things that kill Janissaries. I cannot reasonably expect massing Janissaries to win me the game. So at this point, I'm going to make a few more Janissaries, but we're going to switch to making Hussar and getting some Hussar on the field. I decided not to go for the town center there because I knew my meager force of Janissaries I had wouldn't capture it, and I knew that it was more important at this particular moment to get a little bit of a unit horde going and to get prepared to get Hussar out on the field. Not to mention those Janissaries would be better served protecting my villagers at that forward hunt that was really far away. I'm also at this point like looking all over the map trying to figure out like all my idle villagers and getting things resolved. I'm not 100% used to Ottoman yet, so probably not the best choice. I do end up here, though, making an interesting choice. I end up putting a tower there to kind of protect myself, but I think I would have been better served putting up an artillery foundry and getting Abyss guns. I think Abyss guns do have a bonus against light cav, so it might have been smarter to do that. And unfortunately, I walk into a bunch of Kree trackers, and I lose more Janissaries again. I spammed, and I lost so many units stupidly, so I end up walking away, and he ends up chasing me. And I think Kree trackers are actually faster than my Janissaries, unfortunately. I'm going to have to stop, kill these dog soldiers, and then try to slip away. But on the bright side, I now am making some Hussar, which should allow me to win the game, hopefully, because all he's got is Kree trackers. That's all we've seen. If we could get a huge mass of Hussar out on the field, we'd be in great shape. Also, something I didn't do this game, though, that I should have done, I should have taken advantage of those trading posts. If I had bothered, I have 300 wood, and I had a surplus of wood a lot of the game. If I had bothered to get those trading posts upgraded, I probably could have gotten Hussar out not quickly, but quickly relatively, I guess. But that probably would have been a smarter choice as well. And actually, if I had been paying more attention, I could have gotten Hussar faster out in general. So not well played by me. But in all fairness, I did start off with the Spy Rush, which isn't good. And this is a point in the game where the tide starts to shift. Up until this point, I've done a fairly decent job. But now I'm at this point where if my Hussar massing waves don't kill the mass of his Kree trackers, I'm going to be in a world of trouble. Because if he's been massing bow riders still, then there's not going to be a humongous amount of things I can do. Fortunately, I see his Kree trackers walking by, and I think, you know what, let's take advantage. And I really thought I'd be able to kill him at this point. You know, 8 Hussar really should kill, but the stupid trees mess up the pathfinding, and I'm not looking actually at it at this point. But it shouldn't have been that complicated, but as you can see here, the Hussars get like all jungled up and are like running around each other instead of just meleeing everything to death, unfortunately. And I end up just running away. And I don't know if I could have won that fight. Maybe I could have. Maybe I could have. I do walk away with most of my Hussars intact. I walk away with 6, and I think I had 7 or 8 to begin with. So I only lost 2. So maybe I could have gotten away with that, but it didn't seem smart. Anyway, at this point, I have a humongous surplus of food, and I do not have a surplus of coins, so I have a surplus of coin, I don't have a surplus of food. So I end up just shifting my villagers around, but I only have 30 villager population, which sucks because I've been losing villagers due to raiding this entire game. So that's not good. And my initial hunts are gone, and I'm now having to rely on hunts closer to the middle of the map. And this is actually a point where his buffalo cards are kind of coming in handy. But hopefully here we find some villagers, and I was so hoping, I'm like, yes, finally we can get some decent raiding going on. And out come some bow riders, just like that. And I'm like, no, this sucks. But I was making Janissaries again, knowing that he was going to make bow riders. Again, the reason why I was making Janissaries was I wasn't sure if Abyss guns were strong counters to bow riders. I assumed that Janissaries were, but probably an erroneous decision, right? Anyway, at this point, though, I'm going to get my Explorer, hopefully looking towards getting a trading post of my own built, and he's in the Fortress Age, which really just kind of marks the end for me. I'm going to fight on a little bit more, but he's now going to be able to get Rifle Riders on the field, and Rifle Riders will kill both my Janissaries and my other units, and there's not much I can do about it. I think Abyss Guns actually is a counter against, I think Abyss Guns are a counter against ranged cav. The reason why I don't remember, by the way, is usually in Treaty, when I'm playing a civilization I haven't played in a while, such as Ottoman, I'll make one of a unit, I'll look at what it's good and bad against, and I'll remember it, you know what I mean? So that way, you know, if I haven't played Ottoman in like 8 months and I'm playing a high-ranked Treaty game, you know, I look at what their unit, like, resource distribution is, I look at what they're good against, and I figure out, alright, I'm going to want to use an Abyss Hussar mix. Again, just theoretics here. I'm probably not actually going to use an Abyss Hussar mix, but you know, that's kind of my logic or how I figure things out. So that's why I didn't know off the top of my head if Abyss guns were good, which is bad. I should know these things, so my apologies for not being on top of my game theoretically, or literally not being on top of my game. As you can see at this point, though, his cav gets there so freaking fast. I could not believe it. They were at the top of the map. Next thing I know, they're attacking my Hussar, and I'm like, I barely get some out, and I'm just like, this sucks. Like, they got there so fast relatively. I could not believe how fast they got there, and he's got a huge mass. He obviously has sent some from his home city, and at this point, I'm like, you got me, kid. It was a hard-fought battle, and in the game, I felt like I could have won it, although looking back at it, it was pretty obvious pretty quickly that I had screwed up too much and I didn't get Abyss on the field when I should have. But all around, it was a really hard fight. It was a really fun game, and he ends up pulling this one out. So for those of you who like weird strategies, hopefully you enjoy this. For those of you who like to see me lose, because I know there's some of you out there, hopefully you enjoy this. It was a really hard fought and fun game. Ottoman Spy Rush, not a good strategy. Ottomans are best served, a dish best served cold. No, actually they're best served hot with a Janissary Rush or a Fast Fortress. But all around, it was a heck of a lot of fun to play. And I just choose to resign rather than make him go through the process of killing my town. I generally fight to the last man if there's a chance, you know, but there's no chance here. His economy had really pulled ahead of mine. I guess just being able to ship Buffalo and get to the Fortress Age, you know, he outplayed me. Even though I had more resources too, that was the irony. I was not using my resources in the right way. I was not countering well, and I did not take advantage of the trading posts, and I did not know which units did what, and I made a bunch of mistakes. I didn't really buy the market upgrades I should have, and I didn't do a lot of things this game that, as a YouTuber and as a person who kind of plays this game that people look up to, I should have. So I would advise you guys all learn from my mistakes, but the best thing is I'm going to learn from my mistakes as well. So my next Ottoman video tomorrow hopefully will be a lot better. Ottoman are a really fun and exciting civilization to play with, so I'm looking forward to that. But before I go, let me give you today's quote of the day from Sun Tzu in The Art of War, and it is, be subtle, and use your spies for every kind of business. Guys, my name is BTM. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, good luck and happy hunting.